Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Spain Pavilion. My name is Alicia Montalvo. I'm the director of the pavilion, and this is my pleasure to introduce now the journey we have today. We are devoting this day to resilience and circular economy. These are very broad issues, and I think it's very relevant. We have today here one of the most important companies that is really committed with climate change. This will be my pleasure that later on Cristina Galac will introduce him, but I just would like to invite you to participate today in all our events, not only now the participation of the consejero delegado de Telefónica, señor Vila, but also the Global System Mobile Association later on, and other events very relevant on research and innovation I will be introducing later on. So thank you very much for coming. I give the floor now to Cristina Galac to introduce Mr. Vila.
Thank you very much, Alicia. And let me just say a couple of words of congratulations to Alicia for the extraordinary work she's done to put together this pavilion and a program which is unthinkable in the terms of the richness, the depthness of all the events you are conducting. Well, I am very fortunate to present to you, to introduce to you a compatriot, a Spanish compatriot, but also a Catalan compatriot, Angel Vilaboix, with, a name to ensure that we understand better the role of digitization and climate change and what is expected from companies like Telefónica in terms of accompanying us through a transition which is going to be very difficult, and for that we need visionary leadership in key places such as Telefónica. Telefónica has been the technological partner of COP25. And when we asked Telefónica to be part of this experience of supporting the organization, there was no hesitation at all, and immediately they found their role, because it's impossible to have a successful COP without a strong partner like Telefónica in charge of all the connectivity. So thank you very much, dear friends from this superb team of Telefónica, for accepting our request and offering such extraordinary services. My second thought is about the conception of how we have seen from the High Commissioners the role of the private sector in this COP. You know that the transformations that need to take place in our countries, in Spain, but in many others, are impossible to be done just with public policies, just with the energy that our political leaders, central governments, regional, local, we definitely need strong alliances with the private sector. And these strong alliances are fundamented in what we call SDG 17, which is the last of the 17 SDGs, but I would say is probably the first, because when we engage in important transitions, we need to look at the method. How are we going to do it? And starting with this view of partnerships is fundamental. So you will see in this COP25 key actors coming from the private sector, and we are delighted to continue working in this inclusive way to have public policies and the private sector fully engaged in this key journey along the implementation of the 2030 agenda. And then my last word is about Telefónica, this superb company that has, without any hesitation, engaged in the path of transformation and is fully committed to address the key challenges of climate change, not only in our country, but beyond our borders, where the company has presence. Lastly, let me say a word of the speaker that is going to address you. You know, Angel and me, we share something, which is we both were young Fulbright students in the United States, in Columbia University. You know, he's a little bit younger than me. So it is really an immense pleasure to have shared with him the campuses in Colombia, although he was on the technological side and an MBA, and I was on foreign policies. And I don't know, Angel, if you would agree with me. When I was at Colombia, you know, nobody asked me where I come from. People ask me where I want to go. Nobody asked me what was my mother tongue, what was my background. People asked me what was my vision and how we could together, you know, move on. So here we have Angel, who's going to talk about his vision and the vision of Telefonica on digitization and climate change. Thank you very much. Maybe you want to sit, right?
Muchas gracias. Thank you, Cristina, for your kind words. You've been too kind. My grandmother would believe you. My wife would not. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good morning to you all. First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Chilean government who holds the presidency of this climate summit. And also to the Spanish government, especially the Ministry for Ecological Transition, on the organization of this COP25, which is one of the most important events of the year to provide solutions to the global climate crisis. We at Telefonica are very proud to be the technological partner, providing connectivity to this conference throughout the fiber network and all the communication systems of Telefonica, powered by 100% renewable energy. And thank you for the invitation to participate in this summit. It's a real pleasure to be here. So, when we were thinking about this summit and which messages to convey to you, three questions came to mind. The first one, what is digital revolution about? The second one is what is society demanding, and how can digitization stand up to make the planet more sustainable? And the third one, how is Telefonica contributing to make the world more sustainable? So let's start with the first question. What is digital revolution about? We are living an extraordinary moment in history that will possibly make history change. Never before has humankind enjoyed such an accumulation of technology. Every time something similar has happened, be it the Bronze Age, the Renaissance, or the Industrial Revolution, human development has taken a huge leap forward that has changed societies, has changed political and social systems. We have even seen revolutions. The digital revolution is changing every single field and aspect of human life. We are seeing advances that were simply unthinkable a short time ago. Consumers are adopting a wide range of technologies at dizzying rates. Connectivity makes all these changes possible. Connectivity is the true engine of the technological transformation that we are witnessing. Without connectivity, there is no digitization. Mobile data traffic is growing more than 50% year on year. There is no other industry that faces such a staggering increase of demand. Data is at the very heart of this ongoing revolution. From picking up a smartphone or going to a run, everything that we do is generating information, is generating data. The new data economy will improve lives in ways that today cannot yet imagine. Data can be a very powerful source for good, taking climate change solutions to the next level, helping organizations take better decisions and improving quality of life. The development of technologies such as artificial intelligence, voice or facial recognition, augmented or virtual reality, IoT or edge computing is going to change our day-to-day, and this is going to accelerate. In the next few years, over 100 million people and things, 100 billion people and things will be connected to the internet. Data traffic will continue to grow exponentially, multiplying fixed traffic by 4 and mobile traffic by 5 times. Artificial intelligence is surpassing new limits and has become the new great game. 5G will accelerate this change. 5G is 100 times faster, 1,000 times more capable, and it nearly eliminates latency, which means that the time it takes for the signal to go back and forth, thus increasing mobility. Thanks to 5G, we will be able to enjoy tourist maps in virtual or augmented reality from a moving vehicle. Self-driving cars are already a reality. The best surgeons will be able to operate remotely in factories, sensors, and robots will be managed with ultra-low latency. Many of these amazing developments are already taking place, and others will happen soon. But all of them, absolutely all of them, will run through the telco networks. What we are just living is unprecedented. This is going to be extremely positive and generate enormous value. Thanks to technology, we may be able to solve problems that were unreachable until now. This is indisputably a technological revolution, but it is also a social revolution that will alter our immediate future. We cannot imagine many of the things that this revolution is going to bring us, but we know that for it to be good to everyone, it must be fair and inclusive. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that these groundbreaking technologies have a clear purpose for our planet and for everybody on it. We must take advantage of the new opportunities offered by the digital disruption in favor of everyone. Technology is already here, yet it is time to put humans first. It's time for human values, because it's people who give purpose to technology and not the other way around. This is why we at Telefónica have defined our company mission to be making our world more human by connecting lives. So, moving to the second question, what is society demanding, and will digitalization play a key role in making our world more sustainable? We are all aware that climate change and digital transition are nowadays dominating the perceived risks globally and have reached real public awareness. Society is increasingly concerned about how companies behave. Citizens are willing to pay more for brands that promote a positive behavior, positive environmental or social impact. In fact, more than 80% of global consumers think that companies should help to improve the environment. In addition, investors are asking for a sense of purpose. They no longer demand solely the fulfillment of financial commitments. They also ask for transparency and responsibility when assessing their exposure to companies. The Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosure and the Carbon Disclosure Project are clear examples of this. Ladies and gentlemen, digitalization is not only a key lever for social progress, it is also critical to decarbonize the economy. It is an essential tool to reduce emissions, and we must take advantage of the opportunities that it can bring to the planet. Smart societies powered by digitalization and virtualization leverage on transformed networks are fundamental for the future development of climate change. According to some studies, technology has the potential to reduce global emissions by between 15% and 35% by 2030. To reach our climate change ambition, we need exponential disruption in the economy, and digitalization can make a very important contribution by supporting all sectors of the economy, such as transport, construction, or energy, and promoting sustainable habits among citizens. Europe should capitalize on the digitalization of its economy, aligning the digital and the climate agendas. To do this, it's necessary to promote a regulation that favors a broader digitalization of the economy to boost the transformation that sectors must undertake. This will help towards the ambition of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. With the right policy framework and strong climate leadership, technology will be fundamental to advance towards a circular and lean economy, optimizing services while reducing waste and pollution. All in all, digitalization will be a main contributor to meet the ambition of zero net emissions by 2050, supporting other sectors to achieve their environmental goals. And now, to the third question. How is Telefónica contributing to sustainability? We believe that companies that do not assume their responsibility in this new world will cease to be relevant. Executives who are not committed to the long term and to sustainability are not being responsible. As a technology company, we do accept our responsibility with an environmentally secure, economically prosperous, inclusive, and fair society. We want to lead the change and being an enabler for a brighter future. Telefónica is a global company with over 350 million customers, and we support social development in many ways. Across our footprint, we represent 0.5% of GDP, generate more than 1.2 million direct and indirect jobs, and have a fiscal contribution to the public budgets of more than 10 billion euros. This gives an idea of the scale of our company's social contribution. And we are also committed to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It's not a rhetorical commitment. It's reflected in our daily work. And this is why, as of this year, the variable portion, the bonus, the variable portion of the remuneration of our entire team takes into account factors such as customer trust, society trust, diversity, or the contribution to mitigate climate change. So we have the scale, we are highly committed with sustainability, and we want to go further. Because we believe that an ambitious climate strategy is good for both business and society. More than a decade ago, we created our climate change office, and we started working to have the most efficient networks in terms of energy and carbon. And to do so, we set a responsible network development policy. So by 2016, we announced our goals aligned with the Paris Agreement and accelerated our decarbonization. Our sustainable business model is based on transforming our networks for the future, increasing capacity and offering better services with lower environmental impact. This reverts to great efficiencies, which together with renewable energies, places us as a benchmark in our sector. We serve societies with cutting-edge technologies. Let me highlight that Telefónica in Spain decided to replace the old copper network and substitute it to fiber, which is 85% more efficient in terms of energy consumption. Thanks to the transformation of our networks, and our investments in cutting-edge technologies, the energy consumption per unit of data traffic has decreased significantly. It has been cut to 1/3 over a 3-year period, even though our network is carrying 3 times more data traffic. Sorry. In Europe and Brazil, 100% of the energy of our operations is renewable. We have reduced our emissions by over 40%, reaching the goals we had set for 2020, 2 years ahead of time. These achievements have allowed us to issue the first green bond of the telco sector earlier this year. We are recognized as a company prepared to face the risks and opportunities arising from climate change. Telefónica is one of only 7 A-listed telcos by the prestigious and independent CDP. We reduce our impact while helping other sectors as well, accompanying our customers in their own decarbonization process. Our services are becoming essential to reduce climate change and are showing encouraging results. The development of new digital services, such as IoT or big data, which contribute towards improving the environment, is a priority for us, and we are posting double-digit growth in this area. For instance, teleworking, fleet management, smart agro, smart lighting, or smart waste services are positively contributing to climate change by improving specific consumption metrics by between 15 and 85%. Overall, through our services and products, we avoided more emissions than our carbon footprint, having a net positive impact in the environment. At Telefónica, we are aware of the urgency to reduce carbon emissions, and today we are redoubling our commitments, aligned with the ambition of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. We want to be part of the solution for the climate change challenge. So we are announcing today 5 very demanding goals to continue decarbonizing, including our ambition to, first, reduce our energy consumption per unit of data traffic by 85% in 2025. Second, reach 85% of renewable energy consumption in 2025 and 100% in 2030. Third, we commit to halve our emissions in 2025, reduce them by 70% in 2030, and become carbon neutral, meaning zero net emissions in 2050. Fourth, reduce 30% the emissions per euro purchased of our supply chain by 2025. And fifth, avoid, through our products and services, 10 tons of CO2 for every ton we produce by 2025. So, after covering the three critical questions, let me conclude with one key message. Telefónica supports the creation of a world where digital technology contributes to protecting the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, as the motto of this climate summit states, it is time for action, and Telefónica is already on the move. Thank you very much.